Hello again. We are charting the higher octave with my very special guest who's back on the show, all the way from San Francisco, California, and one of the keyboard player and lead vocalist for Octavian Winters and her own solo project now, Ria Aursjoen. So it's just called Aursjoen, right?
That's right.
Okay, great. So I'm so glad to have you back on the show. And we were talking just a while ago, and when I was in San Francisco, I met the other two guys, which I'm so happy. We went out. I went out with Randy, and then I met Stefan and Randy both at the Jawabo concert. And I go, "Where's Ria? It's not complete. Where's Ria? Go get her."
And they should say she's off in her cave like she always is.
That's okay. No, I totally get it. I'm that way too.
Next time,
Uh,
next time.
Yeah, next time for sure. So I wanted to I wanted to represent Octavian Winters appropriately. So here I am.
Love it.
And a big shout out to Randy if he's watching. I know he's gonna say, "Oh, I know that shirt," and you know what? It fits really well. I'm so proud to wear it. I really am. It fits really well. If
They're
it's
they're
soft, it's
they're
good
soft.
material. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if anybody wanted to get this T-shirt, they can go to your website, right?
that's right.
Yep. I would highly recommend it. The quality of a shirt. So I'm all about quality. Quality food, quality clothes. Has to have a really soft material. Or I'm not gonna wear it.
I agree. We spent a long time looking through way more t-shirts than I even cared to tell you to choose one. Oh, I'm
No,
glad
you
to
have
hear
to. No, you have to because there's some people or places or events, they just get any kind of t-shirt and I'm like, you expect me to wear that? It feels like rubber. I don't know what the heck that is. I mean, it's not gonna be comfortable. It's not gonna last,
that.
It's not gonna feel good, fit good. I mean, but
Yeah,
anyway.
it's all stiff and it doesn't hang right. Yeah.
Yeah, so and I always love this name, right? Octavian Winters. It's just like it totally matches you and your project and everything else. But anyway, I'm so excited for this new project. And I was really when I saw it with Shauna, Shameless Promotion PR, big shout out to her. She's always so great. When I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, I have to talk to her now. So
I'm so
thank you.
glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And I know William Faith, the great producer. I think practically every guest I have on the show, a lot of them they always go, "Yeah, I work with William Faith." I go, "Okay, William Faith. All right, yeah, yeah." He's like a name now on the show, William Faith. Yeah, he's majorly talented. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, what made you decide to do your own solo work?
Yeah, so good question. I've actually been writing my own stuff for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I recorded it before, just haven't released it, usually because I'm working with a group. And so that takes precedence. But it seemed like a time that if I wasn't going to release it now, it was never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and coincidentally, about that time, we had started working with William, and Stephan had sent a couple of things of mine to William. And William said, "Oh, I really like this. You should really record this." And so we connected, William and we found out that we were on so much the same page about many things. And he said, "Oh, going to be, this is up my street. I'd really like to do this." I said, "Well, I'd really love to work with you." So um, we sort of started out down that road. And as far as picking the songs for the record, that was super interesting because I had such a huge body of material that I'd been writing over so many years. I I said, "Well, how about if I send you some things that I think, and then you can tell me what ones stand out to you?" And I started dumping all these things into a folder, and I thought, "Oh my God, there's so many things down this folder, like it's way too many things." So I went and culled it down and just picked sort of my favorite songs from different eras of my songwriting life.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very end, we decided we were going to do 6. And at the very end, I left a space for the 6th one. And I said, okay, we picked 5. And so we only had 5 when I went to record at his studio in Chicago in June. And I had sort of the idea for a song. I had some other things in my back pocket, and I thought, well, this doesn't work out, we can pull those out. But bottom line is, I wrote that final song overnight when we were there recording one of the nights. And I love that because the whole record represents its pieces from the distant past, the recent past, sort of contemporary pieces, and then something that I did on the spot. So it's really representative of kind of an arc for me through my whole life.
Oh, wow. So when did you started writing like the songs here, would you say?
Let's see, for this batch, I think the oldest one would be 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They skew towards more recent, but I did want to include a couple things that were from the more distant past. And yeah, it was, and my writing, the way that I write has changed over the years as well, because back then I wrote all on piano and then translated it to other instruments and sort of figured out how to add percussion and so forth. And in the past 10 years, I've been writing more from the start of loops and percussion and then adding on to that and going back to piano. So it's a different sort of song that comes out of that. And yeah, I don't know if people will feel like, I suppose one of my worries was people will listen to the record and go, wow, this is so disparate. These things are very disparate in terms of their feel. But I think in a way that's the beauty of it. I think it's cohesive enough.
Because what?
I think it's cohesive enough. I think it has enough of an undercurrent where you can feel the thread running through it.
You know, I saw the video for Want of.
Mm-hmm.
A beautiful video.
Thank you. That was, I'm laughing only because David Crusty, we had this amazing, thing all planned out, and it was very scripted and so forth. And there were costumes, and I even had already gotten the costumes. And and I came back from tour, and it was so late in the game that he said, we're going to have to record this right now. The editing time is getting down to the wire. And I was absolutely exhausted. And we couldn't get the location that we wanted to shoot on the day that we needed to shoot. And so we just went, let's just go out there. We'll do what we feel in the moment. This will be a simpler video. It's just going to be a song video. And then that's what came out of it. So being really exhausted off of tour had its advantages. I think I just kind of let down my guard a little bit and lost self-consciousness with the camera and just did that, and it came out great. I was really happy.
Yeah, it's so real. Even those photography, all those shots. I mean, every single one of them are like, they're mysterious, they're beautiful. They have what do you call it? They have this mystery behind it, just to capture. I could tell that it was just captured right. So I go, who's the photographer, and who's, because the photographer makes a difference too. I mean, they really do add to the shot. If you can't work with a photographer, you just won't turn out right,
That's true. Yeah. It's about capturing. It's trying to capture the real essence of, the authenticity of what you are moment. And
that's what I felt.
Yeah.
I felt that. That's why I asked you the authentic. Yeah, it's got to be, right? Because some of them can be really like, I mean, you can tell a picture, even though it's really nice and good, you can tell that it was scripted and it was, they were kind of forced to do that pose. but this one is real. And ironically, I saw some birds flying. You see those birds in the video? Is that,
Yeah.
I mean, that just, the birds were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See what I mean? It's just sometimes it's called divine timing. when when you see these things, and it's like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a teaching, well, not teaching, it was a learning experience for me because I'm not a big camera person. I don't really enjoy being on film. It's very different to me from being recorded. I know for a lot of people, it seems like it's two sides of the same coin, but for me, they're very different. So I always sort of don't look forward to it and feel like I need to control it. And I found my feet with the camera that day in a way that I think is going to go forward with me and remind me, like, just, just don't think, don't, don't overthink it. Don't think so much. Don't script it so much and just go.
Hmm. So you remember that song, right? For want of. I know there's a story behind that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a very was that a it's kind of memorable for you, right?
Very much so. Really bleak time in a lot of ways. Find a lot of good music comes out of bleak times for
It
me.
does. It does, yeah.
But I had left a relationship and I had moved into an apartment and I had pretty much I moved in with nothing, just kind of a few things of like I think I had a saucepan and like a spoon and a fork and a bag of clothes and a pillow and a sleeping blanket or something. It was that little. And I had a baby and a toddler at the time. And so we were all in this sort of situation and it improved, but that initial part where you're just absolutely landed into the middle of nothing, that's really what it was. You're landing into the middle of nothing and you're thinking, oh, how am I going to make my way forward and out of this? And it was right after Christmas. So it was just coming out of December and the lyrics come in the winter talking about, how
Mhm.
there's this bleakness of the winter, this bleakness of feeling. Yeah.
Wow, it was almost like a plutonian moment. But then after that, you got a new beginning, right? It's
Yeah,
like starting all over
absolutely.
again.
It's just, sometimes are you familiar with tarot cards?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
So
like the Dark Night of the Soul.
yeah, yes, exactly. And I'm thinking of the tower card, you tear everything down
Mm-hmm.
and the lightning is striking and it's calamity. But once you have the rubble, then you can start to rebuild from the rubble to build it to be what you want it to be.
Yeah, and those are actually, I mean, they may look like they're terrible times, but you got to always remember that there's always like sunshine in the end of the rainbow, right? In the end of that moment. Yeah, I mean, I wear this tarot. I have the magician right here.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if I mean, you can't see it, but it's a beautiful. I mean, it's silver, and I always wear it because I always I feel like the magician. Yeah, no, yeah,
That's a powerful card to,
I know it is. Yeah,
yeah, sort of bending willing things into being and taking things and making things according to your will, right?
yeah. They also have the lovers, and they have death, and I'm not gonna wear death. And even though I'm all got out, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't want that on me.
Yeah, you don't need quite that much transformation yet.
I transform every single day. I mean, I'm constantly transforming. I have Scorpio as my ascendant.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I'm transforming all the time. But this is such an amazing album, and I know it's going to be really successful. It's a lot. I've heard well, I think I've heard most of the tracks, but I know you only released two, right? Is it the third one already?
I've released, yeah, I've released two so far, and then the record will come out in a couple of weeks on the 15th of November.
Yeah, and I'm so glad. I will be sure to release it around that period too. That this interview. So
Wonderful.
that's perfect timing. I told Shauna, let's get this before like right away. So yeah. Uh,
Shout out to Shauna. She's just amazing. She's
yep.
absolutely could not have done this without her.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's so wonderful in just connecting with her clients and just getting everybody together and making sure that everything, the connection between the interviews just works really well. So grateful for her as well.
I found that she and I share a birthday as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait. Is she a Libra? Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah, we had no idea until this year. We went, wait a second.
Oh, wait a second. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, well, that's why. So you guys have that you're both Venetian, she's so pleasant, She really is. Wow, okay. That's a synchronicity, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
So, tell us about Strand. I know that's a debut name, right?
Yeah. So the the name sort of has multiple layers for me. Strand in Danish means beach. And when I was growing up, I lived across the street from the beach on a street called Strand, which is the beach road. And some of the songs, especially the first one, reference those times of my life.
Oh.
And so on then going to the other side of it, thinking of drawing out a strand, like a silken strand out of, a bunch of threads, just drawing one out. And that's how I felt about this with Octavian Winters music. Like Octavian is its own thing, and we all contribute, massively to Octavian. But, me taking just this one sort of strand that leads off in its own direction, but is still connected to what Octavian does, was what I had in my mind. So, and then there's just something beautiful about the idea of a strand. Like a strand is something that connects very delicately, right?
Mhm.
It has to me, a positive connotation, something you might be able to follow to some place.
Yeah, it's almost like like genetics. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
What a
guess
great way to think about it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what I think about. So this is that connection, going back to where your roots, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's wow. Thank you for that additional perspective. That's amazing. I hadn't thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right. It's a beautiful way to think about it.
Thank you. Yeah. So another good quality about you is that you have I think we talked about it before, synesthesia. So a lot of people may not know what that is, but that's do you feel that's well I think it's a gift.
I think it's a gift too. Um, I think when you have it and you don't realize when you're young that not everybody's experiencing the world the same way, it can be a little bit confusing until you realize that you're experiencing the world differently. But ultimately, yeah, I definitely think it's a gift. And there are a lot of different types of synesthesia that people have. So synesthesia means crossing of the senses, right? Some people cross their like they can see something and it can be a color for them, like they see letters or numbers in their colors, and that happens, that part happens for me as well. That's the most common form of synesthesia. People can hear things and it can be colors for them. People can hear things and it can be spatial structures for them, and that's the other kind of synesthesia that I personally experience. I have a friend who she tastes something and she experiences a shape from a taste, and that's Like, that's amazing to me.
I mean, this is like an artist, you know. I mean, this is a gift. It's like an artist, you know. I mean,
I,
they view the world differently from a person that has no artistic um talent. Or, you know, some people don't have it, right? They have other talents, but right, it's a gift. I mean, I think.
it's it's it took me a long time to realize that's what I was doing when I looked back, and then I went, oh, okay, that's what I'm using to do that. But when I started working with bands and I started having to create vocal melodies and lyrics and figure out the ways that lyrics were going to rhythmically sit within the music and so forth, I would I would be finding the space. I could see it. I could see where the spaces were and where things should be placed spatially. And that's how I was coming up with the lyrics and the vocal lines originally. So that's always how I worked as a vocalist. And it took me a long time to realize, well, oh, that's the reason why I was doing it that way. I wasn't listening to it and doing it through my ears exactly. But, in terms of, you reminded me, I saw a documentary. I don't know. I keep trying to find this documentary again and I can't find it. I do know it exists. But it was a documentary about an artist who had synesthesia, and she tried to paint her synesthesia, like paint her experience of, I don't remember if it was words maybe or sounds or tastes, but she would create these amazing pictures of her experience of these particular things in the other senses. And it was something else.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would love to know that documentary. That's interesting.
If I find it again, I keep scrolling through. I know I saw it on streaming, so it's there somewhere
Oh,
theoretically.
it'll pop up. It'll pop up, when it's time. Well, this is I'm looking forward to the release date, and I'm sure many artists, anybody who's listening will probably they want to hear the rest of the songs, right? And this is available November 15th. Stratis Kappa Stratis Capta Records.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and you can pre-order it now if you so choose. That would be lovely as well. I'm really looking forward to people hearing the entirety of the record, because I do think that it has a little bit of something for, well, maybe not everyone in the whole world, but it has a little bit of something for lots of people. There's not one thing that you can pin down and say, oh, this record does that. Like if you've heard New Door, the first single, and say, oh, well, it's like this. No, the rest of it is its own thing. Each song is its own thing. So I'm just really looking forward to putting that out into the world, and seeing how people hear it, how they receive it.
Yeah, and I liked Apollo.
Oh, yay! You heard Apollo? Yes, it was included on a playlist recently. Yeah,
Yeah. I
that's
mean, he's an amazing, Greek mythology, right? In Greek mythology, he's many things. But why did you pick Apollo?
there is a story behind that song. By the way, Stephan plays guitar on that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's a part of this
Yeah.
album. That's great. Yeah, big
So
shout out to him.
yeah, shout out to Stephan, who couldn't have done it without him. But yeah, so pleased. The story with Apollo is, and this probably is going to sound unbelievable at this point, but I really, years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I really liked some of the band Monster Magnets stuff, particularly because the vocalist Dave Windorf, I think, is a fantastic singer. His delivery, just his voice altogether, but his phrasing and his delivery is immense. Completely the opposite kind of singer from what I am, of course. But anyway, so I just really loved Dave Windorf's voice. And I felt like his voice was so evocative, like it can make you feel things on a visceral level. and it was almost like um, a it was a hand that could just grab you and shake you around. And so that's where that idea of the song started, was,
Mm.
Apollo, god of music, and what kind of power could music have, or somebody have through music, to reach out and kind of not just do the things we think about music doing, which is usually nice things, or in general, but do things that maybe weren't so nice, or shake you up, or grab you upside, kind of give you a little, like, yeah, just kind of grab you. And so that
Yeah.
was the inspiration for that song. When I bring up Monster Magnet, I told somebody else out there, like, no way. But
Yeah, Apollo's the god of music too,
yeah,
and healing too,
yeah,
and he reminds me a lot of Leo. That's astrological
yeah.
um zodiac sign of Leo, because Leo is very poetic. Their music and poetry and all that.
Well, and that the way that, um, if you look at the lyrics for that song, or listen to the lyrics, it's sort of about somebody being laid bare, and then kind of um, putting themselves back together. There is a form of healing that comes out of that song. It's a little bit of
Oh,
a kind of a tough love sort of healing, but there is a healing aspect to that song. So, um, yeah. Anyway,
yeah, it looks like your music is divinely guided or something. Like there's a God behind all the stuff you're doing.
I kind of I I'd like to think that I sort of wait to see what's going to happen. I can never really approach a song and go, you know what, I'm going to write a song about this. It I start with music generally, almost always, and then I will just have to see what the lyrics are, because I really don't know until
Mm.
they happen. And I think that probably frustrates my bandmates and Octavian Winters, because sometimes they come quickly, and sometimes it's been a couple months and they're like, so Ria, have you had a chance to work on these lyrics? And in reality, they're in the stew pot. They just haven't merged yet with what they're supposed to be.
Yeah. They're all, I mean they're patient. I mean they're really cool guys.
They are. They are.
Yeah, I had a really good time, like just hanging out with them for that short period of time. But yeah, next time I go back to San Francisco, I would like to see everybody again. That's always so good. Wonderful to hang out.
You
I mean,
have
that's
any
the only way. The only way you're gonna connect with people is to actually just hang out with them. You know, I mean, this long distance thing is just, it's just better to connect with people. I mean, and then you share a memory, an experience, right?
It's true. It's good that you're a real traveler, and you seem to go a lot
I'm
of
a
places.
I'm a Sagittarius sun. Sagittarius is a traveler. They travel very far. Yeah, so I think that's my Sagittarius. Some people don't like to travel or go, oh, I hate to fly. And I'm like, okay, we're not friends anymore. Because I can't relate to you. It's just funny.
Do you know when you're coming back to San Francisco?
Um, I never know. I try to plan it with whatever's happening. If there's a concert or something is I'm going through, something like that. But when is the next I mean, I know you guys have been playing already with Octavian Winters. Are you guys planning any kind of concerts down the road, maybe? So I could start planning probably next year, right?
planning your planning your trip to San Francisco. Yeah, well, we're resting a bit right now, having just got back from that little tour, and we're preparing to go into pre-production for the next record. So that's going to take us off the map for a few months, but I'm thinking we'll probably start playing at least a few shows locally, or relatively locally, probably beginning late February, maybe March
Okay.
is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that sounds like when I need to go on a trip again. So I really want to go now, actually. As soon as I got back here from Spain, I just said, "Oh, I think I'm ready to go now again. This is crazy."
Oh, those pictures that you had of your like the food you were eating in Spain. Oh, it made me so hungry. We're
I'm
just
I'm 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 a total foodie, you know. I mean, to me, food is like when you go somewhere, travel, food, astrology, and music.
sounds like a good combination.
Yeah, that's all my sign, you know, my astrological sun, moon, and ascendant right there in one.
What's your moon?
Taurus.
Oh, okay. Is that where the food comes in?
Yeah. Food and luxury. My sun is Sagittarius, that's a travel part and the philosophical, you know, and my Scorpio ascendant, well, that's my dark side.
That's a great combination. And besides that, if you're going to have food, it should be combined with luxury as much as you can rather than just
I know.
any old thing. Yeah.
What's the point of living if you're not living? You're just gonna eat like whatever you. I mean, you gotta really like your food, right?
I agree.
I mean, you too. I mean, you're Libra, right? Is that okay to say?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Double Libra. I'm always joking that I'm double air, I'm just off, you got to like grab
Good.
me, like pull me down to earth a little bit. But
No, that's a great sign, actually. Um, you know, yeah, that's right, air. So they're ruled by the mind. You know, they're quick and also Venus rules Libra. So that's why you have that quality in you. You're a musician, you know, you're pleasant and you're beautiful. So you got all the qualities there.
that's really nice of you to say. Well, you can
Well, you
see
know,
you can see from like my I don't know if you can see if it's blended it out or not, but I like I like sort of beautiful things around me. I like atmosphere in
yeah,
my house.
of
Um,
course.
good chocolate, of course.
Yep. Yeah, there you that's a Libra.
Yeah, it pretty much encapsulates Libra. Beautiful house and good chocolate. Maybe a bubble bath.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like comfort. Okay, well, you know, I thank you so much for this interview. So I also want to mention that you illustrated a children's book, right? Some time ago.
I did. Yeah, a
Yeah.
long time ago when I was a kid. I used to do a lot more visual art when I was a kid, especially. And that's one of the things that I did was illustrated a children's book. And at that time, see, think I was 7 or 8 at that time. And at that time in my life, everybody around me just sort of assumed I was going to be a visual artist. And I do enjoy art, but I think it's you have to find something in art that you are driven to express. And
Mhm.
I found that more in music rather than in visual art.
You're so talented in so many ways, visually, creatively, musically. Well, you know, we're looking forward to the release of the album, November 15th. It's called Strand. And of course, you can get the CD now, the music now in Bandcamp, right?
You can.
Okay, and I'll put this Aursjoen, and that's Aursjoen for those listening to and not watching the video. All right. Well, thank you, Ria. Thank you for joining me. And it was always a pleasure to talk to you guys. And I hope to see you guys in San Francisco.
Yeah, thank you so much. We will see you soon, but we'll make it happen.